Tutorial Island. Give feedback. Tutorial Island. Released the 24th of September 2002. Update. Members no. Location Miss Thaleen. Inhabitants humans. Teleports magic instructor. Music newbie melody, scape cave. Map. Location on world map. Wizard's Tower. Karamja. Tutorial. Island. Caridian. Desert. The node. Tutorial Island is the starting place for every new old school RuneScape player character. It's located in the kingdom of Miss Thaleen, and is connected to the node just to the south. The island guides players through general aspects of gameplay, and serves as a place to learn the ropes for players that are new to the game. If players get stuck during the tutorial, the required next action will be hinted at from the controls guide in the top left corner of the game client screen after a short amount of time has passed. The controls guide will also inform them to follow the instructions in the chat box. Contents: hide. Building 1, the starting house. Character customization. Guy-liner guide. Survival expert. Building 2, the kitchen. Master chef. Building 3, the quest house. Quest guide. Mining instructor. Combat instructor. Melee. Ranged. Controlling combat experience. Building 4, the tutorial island bank. Account guide. Building 5, the chapel. Prayer instructor. Iron Man mode. Building 6, the magic building. Magic instructor. Leaving the island and arriving on the mainland. Permanent tutorial island character. Changes. Transcript. Trivia. Music. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A new player can begin customizing their character upon account creation. The first house on the island. References. Upon logging into the game for the first time after account creation, players will find themselves in the starting house, found at the center of Tutorial Island. The character creator interface will be open, which allows setting their character's appearance, such as gender, skin color, and clothing styles. The majority of these customization options can later be altered through makeover after leaving Tutorial Island, but only members can change the color of the shoes and the design of the hands, whether the character wears bracelets or not, after confirming. Inside the starting house is the Guy-liner guide, the first non-player character, NPC, that players will encounter and talk to. He welcomes new arrivals to the world of Guy-liner and teaches how to talk to its inhabitants. He'll also ask players their experience level. Players who select brand new or played in the past will then have access to the task system adventure paths once they arrive on the mainland. Finally, the guide will talk about the settings menu options. To continue the tutorial, the player needs to go outside through the door and follow the path to meet their first instructor. Left click somewhere on the ground to move there. The arrow keys can be used to rotate the camera and change the view. Brynner, the survival expert, gives players the basics for The survival skills: fishing, woodcutting, firemaking. Building 1, the starting house, edit source. Character customization, edit source. Guyliner guide, edit source. Survival expert, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The kitchen of Tutorial Island. And cooking. She'll give players an item, a small fishing net, which ends up in the backpack. Inventory. The small fishing net must be used with a fishing spot in the nearby pond, by clicking on such a spot, to catch some raw shrimps. Note that instructions given to your character can be seen in the top left corner. Catching some shrimps will gain you fishing experience, which can be seen in the skills menu or interface. There, the player can find all skills, their current levels and the amount of experience. A skill can be clicked on to open up the relevant skill guide. After gaining experience from fishing, talking to Brynna will result in her giving the player a bronze axe and a tinderbox. The axe must be used to cut a tree to collect some logs. Click on the tinderbox to highlight, select it, then clicking on the logs to use the tinderbox on them, will start the animation of lighting a fire. Players must cook the raw shrimps on the fire. Once cooked, the shrimps, and food in general, can be eaten to replenish lost health. Note, almost all skills that can be trained on Tutorial Island can be trained to level 3, but this is the highest level available here. Much faster training methods exist off the island, and higher levels than 3 can only be obtained after finishing the tutorial. Everything gathered on Tutorial Island will be lost once the player leaves the island. For this reason, it's recommended to complete the tutorial in a way that best explains the game, and focus on increasing skills after leaving the tutorial. Upon entering the second building, Lev, the master chef, shows players the finer points of cooking by sharing how to make bread. He hands the player the required ingredients, a pot of flour and a bucket of water. The flour and water must be mixed to make bread dough, which is done by using one of the 2 items on the other. The dough can then be baked into bread at the cooking range by using the dough on the range. After making the bread, players learn how to use the music player. If the player has no more ingredients, they can be replenished by talking to Lev, but only if you didn't complete the music tutorial. Note that if you didn't complete the music tutorial, you can't burn your bread. When you complete this tutorial, you can move on to the quest guide. When moving to the next building, you gain the option to use emotes and how to run. Note, along the way, players may notice some oak trees. These trees cannot be chopped down, because they require level 15 woodcutting. The highest woodcutting level players can reach on Tutorial Island is level 3. Building 2, the kitchen. Edit source. Master chef, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The Quest House, the third building on Tutorial Island. The Quest Guide tells the player all about quests. He covers using the quest journal and the colors that the quests on that list can have. Red means the quest has not yet been started. Yellow means started, but not finished, in Progress. Green means finished. When clicking on a quest, information about that quest will be displayed. If it is red, it will indicate where to find or start it and what the requirements are. If it is yellow, it will remind you what to do next. The starting point of a quest can be easily recognized by the quest icon that can be found on the minimap and on the world map. Such a symbol can be seen in the house the player is in right now. Note that there are various icons to show different points of interest, which will help players find their way. Finally, the quest guide will tell you what quests can be about and what rewards they might offer once completed. It is now time to go down the ladder and enter some caves, where players will forge and use weaponry. The mining instructor, Desik, teaches players the basics of mining and smithing, which includes smelting. He will hand out a bronze pickaxe, which must be used to mine the nearby rocks, which contain copper and tin. If you are unsure which is which, you can hover your mouse over a rock, which will show its name in the upper left corner. When players have mined a copper ore and a tin ore, they can use the furnace to smelt the ores, combining them into a bronze bar. Desik will then give the player a hammer, with which the player can smith the bar into a bronze dagger on one of the nearby anvils. Building 3, the quest house, edit source. Quest guide, edit source. Mining instructor, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A map of the tutorial island dungeon, where both the mining instructor and the combat instructor reside. Note, unlike with other skills, progressing both mining and smithing to level 3 here is worthwhile, as almost nowhere else in the world one can find ores, a furnace and an anvil this close to each other. The combat instructor, Vanaka, teaches the basics of the melee and ranged types of combat. Pures should pay attention to the controlling combat experience section below. Players will now learn about the worn inventory, where wielded and equipped items will end up, and equipment stats can be shown. After the dagger is equipped, they will be given a bronze sword and a wooden shield and will be told about the combat interface, where the attack style that will be used in combat can be selected. Different attack styles give different types of experience, and monsters are weak to specific attack styles. The player will now have to kill one of the nearby rats. To do so, they must wield the bronze sword, the bronze dagger, or neither of those, fight unarmed. The attack style they select will determine what skill they will be training, attack, strength or defense. Hit points cannot be trained on Tutorial Island, unless the player has reached level 3 strength. As soon as you attack an opponent, in this case one of the giant rats, a health bar will appear above that opponent's head, and one above your own head will also appear as soon as the opponent strikes back. Note that a fatal hit cannot be received at this time. Your health will likely drop to 1 but will never reach 0. As such, eating food to replenish health is not required. This is not the case outside of the tutorial. After killing one rat, you may continue with the tutorial. Next up, Vanaka will talk about ranged combat. At this point, the rat pit cannot be re-entered. He will give the player a short bow and 50 bronze arrows, and once again the goal is to kill one single rat. Doing so will force the player to move on. When both the melee and ranged combat tasks are completed, the player may Talk to the instructor to learn more about combat stats, melee combat, ranged combat and the wilderness. In the melee fight, when armed with the sword or dagger, the accurate style trains attack, aggressive trains strength, and defensive trains defense. Some other weapons, obtainable only after leaving Tutorial Island, may offer the controlled style, which allows training all three skills at once, for when including hit points. When unarmed, punch trains attack, kick trains strength, and block trains defense. If you kill a rat during the melee or ranged stage, the combat instructor will not allow you to attack another one, forcing you to continue the tutorial. Therefore, if you want to train more while on the island, it is suggested to deal 2 damage to a rat, run to the other side of the pit to exit combat, which enables you to attack another rat, and then repeat. When you have done this a couple of times, the chance increases you will accidentally attack a rat you have harmed before, killing it instantly. It will therefore become necessary to switch worlds regularly. If another player finishes off a rat that you have already done 2 damage to, that will count as your kill. Combat Instructor, edit source. Melee, edit source. Ranged, edit source. Controlling Combat Experience, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The 4th building players visit, hosting the first bank accessible on RuneScape. The next to last building on Tutorial Island, the chapel. The next building, the Tutorial Island Bank, introduces players to the Bank of Guylina. Players will visit a bank and use a bank booth to access their bank account, where they can store their possessions. Players must then look at the poll booth found in the bank. Like banks, these are found in many towns across the world, and they allow the community to vote on the release of future game-changing updates. Unlike most bank tellers, the bankers on Tutorial Island cannot be interacted with. The account guide instructs players about their account, i.e., their character. He will explain the account management menu and the various options within it. Membership, worlds, swapping worlds with the world switcher in the Logit menu, the store, bonds, the inbox, the name changer and various useful links at the bottom of the menu. The account guide will also mention account safety and security, which are strengthened with bank pins and authenticators. For that topic, he redirects to the customer support webpage. In the Tutorial Island Chapel, the monk brother Brace instructs players in the prayer skill, the prayer list, the use of prayers, prayer points and recharging those, and gaining prayer experience by burying bones. Note, as explained in the combat section. On this page, at this stage of the tutorial it is no longer possible to train prayer until you travel to the mainland, unless you have gathered some bones during your time in the rat pen. Being the community officer, Brother Brace also instructs players in using the friends list and ignore list, befriending and ignoring other players respectively, adding and removing people from those lists, and the online and offline status of friends, represented by the colors green, yellow and red. Upstairs in the chapel, the player can find an organ on which several tunes can be played. Building 4, the Tutorial Island Bank, edit source. Account guide, edit source. Building VE, the chapel, edit source. Prayer instructor, edit source. Iron Man mode, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The final building non-group Ironman see before leaving the island. When following the road to the next and last building on the island, players will come across Paul, who will introduce them to Iron Man mode. Standard Iron Men or Iron Women will have restrictions imposed on them. They cannot trade, take items belonging to other players, nor accept their help. In other words, they are entirely self-sufficient and do everything for themselves. Hardcore Ironmen or Iron Women not only face the standard restrictions, but also have only one life. In the event of a death that is not safe, the hardcore status will be downgraded to a standard and the stats will be frozen on the hardcore Iron Man his scores. Ultimate Ironmen or Iron Women, in addition to the standard restrictions, cannot use the bank. When they die, all carried items will be dropped directly to the ground and will remain there for an hour after death, after which the items will despawn. As long as the player is on Tutorial Island they can switch freely between the three modes and being a normal player. Once they leave the island, they can speak to Adam the Iron Man tutor in Lumbridge to switch further. However, Adam will let the players switch restrictions only downwards, from higher to lower. The order is Ultimate / Hardcore, Standard, Non-Ironman. Note that once a mode is chosen, players have 1 week to change their mind. Once the week is over, players may not undo the changes. Players can also choose to become a group Iron Man, which allows groups of up to 4 people to play with a shared bank but with the restrictions above. Players who select this option can continue to the node south of the final building. The Magic Instruct or Terrava instructs players in the Magic skill, the spellbook interface, and its filter menu, and the casting of spells. He will hand the player 5 air runes and 5 mind runes, which must be used to cast the offensive spell Wind Strike on one of the nearby chickens. If players drop the runes and talk to the instructor again, more runes may be collected. Players can only cast Wind Strike on the chickens once before they are instructed to move on, and additional collected runes will vanish when leaving Tutorial Island. However, players can return to the rats to train magic up to level 3 to bypass this restriction. This will require at most 32 of each rune, since you receive magic experience even if you miss. Building 6, the Magic Building, edit source. Magic Instructor, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A stayer's bank. Hide. Those that are ready to leave can speak with the Magic Instructor once more. Moving on to the mainland will unlock access to the rest of the world of Guy Liner, the ability to speak in chat, and the ability to further train skills. Players will arrive in Lumbridge, located northeast of Tutorial Island, with standard provisions. The following items are the only ones the player will own when arriving. Any extra or other items collected on the island, whether held in the inventory or stored in the bank, will have disappeared. Carried in the inventory: bronze axe, bronze pickaxe, tinderbox, small fishing net, 1 couple of shrimps, bronze dagger, bronze sword, wooden shield, shortbow, 25 bronze arrows, 25 air runes, 15 mind runes, bucket, pot, 1 loaf of bread, 6 water runes, 4 earth runes and 2 body runes. Stored in their bank account, 25 coins. Before teleporting you to the mainland, Terrava will ask you if you were planning to become an Iron Man. If so, he will direct you back to the Iron Man tutor standing outside Terrava's house. If not, he will point out that in the town he will teleport the player to, Lumbridge, there are many tutors who are willing to teach about the many skills the player could learn. Players that did not unlock the task system adventure paths whilst talking to the Guyliner guide at the start of the tutorial are now standing within or in front of the walled area of Lumbridge Castle. Those that did unlock that task system, and have not chosen to play Iron Man mode, will find themselves just outside the nearby pub, near Adventurer John. He will immediately call the player and tell them about adventure paths. Some players decide to make a separate account for sole purpose of staying on Tutorial Island, or creating a tutorial island pure. The things to do on the island are very limited. Tutorial Island stayers can get level 3 in attack, strength, defense, ranged, prayer, magic, mining, smithing, fishing, cooking, fire-making and wood-cutting, and can collect several items to their banks. However, Tutorial Island stayers cannot trade, vote via poll booth, obtain the Iron Man / Ultimate Iron Man armor, smith anything except bronze daggers, or train their skills higher than level 3. Note that while players on Tutorial Island are not able to trade with other players directly or through dropping items, they are able to place items on a table to be collected by other players. Items placed on tables will last 10 minutes before despawning. Date changes. The 25th of October, 2018. Update. Chopping wood and lighting a fire now comes before fishing and cooking a shrimp. And the first shrimp is no longer guaranteed to burn. Instead, the first is always leaving the island and arriving on the mainland. Edit source. Permanent Tutorial Island character, edit source. Changes, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Total level, 56. 310-3. 313. 313. 313. 313. 313. 111. 11. 5. Date changes. Successful. After that it can burn if you do more, 50% success at level 1. 1. Confirmation needed, the furnace at mining tutorial is now left clickable. Tutorials on music, emotes, and prospecting were removed. Learning to run was made optional. Some other minor tweaks were made to impact the user interface, dialogue and default settings. The 18th of October, 2018. Update. The first character met is now called Guyliner Guide instead of RuneScape Guide. Financial Advisor was replaced with Account Guide. The 28th of April, 2016. Update. Run energy is now restored at the end of the tutorial. The 21st of August, 2014. Update. Tutorial Island has been updated to provide information about in-game polls. The 3rd of April, 2014. Update. Character customization on Tutorial Island now correctly applies new hairstyles and outfits. The 22nd of February, 2013. Update. This content was included when the old-school RuneScape servers officially launched. The respawn timer for resources and NPCs on Tutorial Island has been reduced. This article has an associated transcript page. Click here for the transcript. The maximum total level achievable on Tutorial Island is 56. The maximum experience achievable on Tutorial Island is 3,334 experience points, although to get that much you must get lucky in magic training. The highest experience one can get in a skill, except hit points, is 210 for cooking. The best melee weapon is a bronze sword. The best, and only, ranged weapon is a short bow with bronze arrows as ammunition. The best, and only, shield is a wooden shield. Although there is no magic weapon, the bronze dagger gives +1 magic attack bonus, and is the best magic weapon available on the island. Even though there is a poll booth on the Tutorial Island, the characters can't vote because it requires higher level than the maximum level obtainable on the Isle. Transcript, edit source. Trivia, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. On certain occasions, an NPC called Skippy can be found in the starting building where the Guyliner Guide resides. Skippy allows players to skip the entirety of the tutorial. He cannot be found there permanently, in order to decrease the amount of bots entering the game. Vanaka, the combat instructor, can also be found on the mainland as a Slayer Master. The following music is unlocked while completing the tutorial. Name unlock details music track. Newbie. Melody. Unlocked at Tutorial Island. Scape Cave. Unlocked in the cave below Tutorial Island. 1JJX. Modash's Twitter account. The 26th of October, 2018. Archived from the original on the 9th of April, 2022. This reference may be outdated. Categories: Locations, Islands, Free-to-play locations, Tutorial Island mini quests. Music, edit source. 0 o'clock 0 o'clock / 0 o'clock / 0 o'clock. 0 o'clock 0 o'clock / 0 o'clock / 0 o'clock. References, edit source. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.